Hello, good afternoon, Nigeria, and happy Independence Day anniversary. And again, happy holiday. Welcome to your Wealth class on Lagos Television. I'm Abayomi Obabulijo. Today, we're going to be doing extensively the analysis of market activities between January of 2018 and September, which is the first 9 months. And we're going to be doing this vis-a-vis the possibilities in the market, particularly for the next 3 months to end the year 2018. You will recall that it has been indeed an eventful year on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. At any point in time, the market will always rise and fall. And see, the market that is rising now is expected to fall much later. And in case the market begins to fall, it's definitely going to come back up again, rising. In the Nigerian market, early in the year, it was bullish activities on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, as we saw unprecedented price performance, particularly even among equities that we could call Lilliputians, rising astronomically. But again, that was not to be sustained, because when you see in any situation that there is indiscriminate increase in the prices of equities, definitely that is going to be short-lived, because you don't expect people to just buy, fold their arms, and then continue to look. No, that is not the way it works in the stock market. In the same way, when there is frivolous decline in the prices of equities, very soon the prices of those equities will get to equilibrium level. They will rise again and begin to move. So that is why you need, at any point in time, whether the market is rising, you need to be updated. You need to get connected to the source of information. When the market is also declining, you don't need to get discouraged and then get disenchanted about the market. No, you also need to get connected to the source of information. And then you know when best to enter into the market. To say, this is what we fundamentally believe on this platform. You see, the stock market will always be there to create wealth only to those who will never be dissuaded, who are never discouraged, who are never fearful, and then they are not also greedy, and then they know how to ride with the tide. I'm sorry to say this in Yoruba. It is said in my village, Nino Fi, Nino Allah, Lomokpando Rongbi. I really don't know how to put that in English, but if you have a Yoruba speaking fellow around you, please ask, what is the meaning of Nino Fi, Nino Allah, Lomokpando Rongbi? It just means that in life, you go up, you come down, and then life continues. That's the best I can do. So we will be taking you through what the market has done so far so good this year, and also with the intention of telling you what the possibilities are. As I commence this afternoon, I want to say a very big congratulations to the incoming managing director of Wema Bank PLC. His name is Adebisi Adebise. As I always say, as I also say, good luck to the man who just concluded his term as the managing director of Wema Bank PLC. You could see what we did there. It was a grain handover. There are different handing over within an organization. If this handing over has not been strategic, has not been peaceful, I will have probably indicated with a red arrow, which will have shown a negativity. All right, but in this case, the managing director now, Adebisi, was an executive director in the organization before he was appointed the deputy managing director. And for the best of information at our disposal in the last couple of months, Mr. Oloketui has been on retirement leave, thereby leaving the management of this financial institution, otherwise known or fundamentally known as Agbonmagbe Bank, that was created by Chief Obafemi Awolowo back in days. But over the years, Wema Bank has refused to die. I call this financial institution, the bank, like a cat with 9 lives. So many other regional financial institutions that were created at the same time as Wema Bank are now have now been wrapped up and thrown into the basket of history. But in the case of Wema Bank, it has refused to die. I did write an article around 2004 that we need to now look at the foundation. What was it that Chief Obafemi Awolowo did specifically that has made Wema Bank to sustain and to overcome challenges that are often associated with such financial institutions? And so this is a positive handing over. And of course, a new deputy managing director has also been appointed. We will look at the possibilities of speaking with the new herdsman in Wema Bank PLC, particularly on the radio in a couple of days or weeks, as the case may be. But we will definitely announce ahead of our broadcast of that interview. Now again, the same Wema Bank PLC has announced to the market that they are coming to the market. The arrangement has been concluded. They are coming to the market to raise 20 billion naira, but not in either private placement or special placement or public offer or right issue, but in bond. You know, according to the release by the financial institution, it actually says that the plan originally is to do 50 billion naira debt issuance. It is a program, but in this tranche, it is going to be just 20 billion naira. Now, the intention, what they intend to deploy this fund to achieve is to beef up their capitalization, and that is quite much, and the payment period is between 5 to 7 years. What that suggests to those of us that are investors is that there is nothing that is going to happen to the outstanding number of shares of the financial institution. This is a debt instrument, but of course, it suggests that the financial institution is credible enough because, again, they are not even looking at the hands of retail investors to raise this 20 billion naira, but from institutional investors. We will continue to monitor activities in this financial institution, the performance of the bond, and their performances on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to lead you aright. But in the last 1-2 years, Wema Bank PLC has refused to stay under at different intervals. Of course, there has always been profit taking as with other stocks in the market, but largely, so far so good. Wema Bank has remained upbeat. Now we can say the bank might not necessarily be where it has expected itself to be or where we all expect it to be, but the truth of the matter is that it has moved from where it used to be. I remember an interview I had with Mr. Oloketui when he just took over the management of the bank. All right, those things he told me are not what we can put on air. But the truth of the matter is that the financial institution is moving ahead, and we will create the time to do more analysis on the stock of Wema Bank, particularly when the third quarter report is released to the market, expectedly in a couple of weeks from now. I will show you a few slides because as we are already in the month of October, what are those equities that you need to begin to take position in? All right, and what is the factor? And that leads us to what I call early release of Q3 earnings. Now, when you talk about earnings, as far as the stock market is concerned, very important. As we have always said on this platform, when you talk about earnings, they could be related with your children, my children, going to school maybe at the beginning of the term, right? And so they are expected to come home with results at the end of the first term, second term, and the third term. When they bring the result for the third term, again talking about our children in the primary school and in the secondary schools. So we are expected to see whether the performance is good enough for promotion to the next class or not. That is the way it is with equity. There are 4 quarters in the year. So at the end of every quarter, each of the quoted companies where you have investment or where you are hoping to invest in will most of necessity release a quarterly report, and at the end of the 4th quarter they are expected to release the audited report. And let me say this, when you see an organization that is looking very vibrant in price and you cannot lay hold on their result either on quarterly basis or yearly basis, no matter the attraction of their price, please look away. Buy what you know. That is the lesson we continue to learn in the market. And this is not restricted to just the Nigerian market alone. That is the way it operates all over the world. Now, this is October. And because what we are going to be seeing in the market are just management accounts from all the quoted companies, except when the board so decides that they intend to release an audited 3rd quarter report. I can't remember saying that in the market. And for goodness sake, I've been in the market now for close to 30 years. If not, okay, between 25 and 30 years. All right? I can't remember saying that. But that's just by the way. So now, we expect the management account to begin to hit the market in the next 2 weeks. And so, what we have done is to see those that we can get some signals. Maybe they have released their close period to the market. And so we captured them and we are going to be showing you with the date. I'm going to stay very briefly on that. The first is Guarantee Trust Bank PLC. That has been released to the market, and from what we can say, the expected date of release is October 18, 2018. That is when the board of the bank will be meeting to deliberate on the 3rd quarter report. And so it is expected that as soon as the board concluded their sitting and deliberation, this result should be released to the market, because again, as a financial institution, it is not expected that they will have to first release this result to the central bank. No, what they need is just to release it to the public as soon as their board has sat on it. And from what we have seen in the market in the last couple of years, if you can see the time expected of Guarantee Trust Bank PLC to releasing their 3rd quarter report to the market, it will not be difficult for you to begin to also have an expectation for the release of the 3rd quarter report of Zenith Bank. And so Zenith Bank is expected to release its 3rd quarter report to the market between 17th to 19th of October 2018. Why this is so is that though Zenith is yet to release any report officially to the market, but we know that it is either that Zenith and Guarantee release their result to the market the same day, or a day before, or a day after. Now that Zenith has known that most likely the result of Guarantee will be hitting the market on October 18, it is very likely that we will see the result of Zenith in the market on 17th, on 18th, but definitely the result is going to hit the market not exceeding 19th of October. All right, I'm going to make a conclusion on this, but we go to United Capital PLC, where Peter Ashadi is currently the managing director, and I guess that this will be the first major result to be seen from Ashadi as a move from Africa Prudential to United Capital PLC. So the expected date of release of their third quarter result is October 18, 2018, when the board of the organization is expected to sit to deliberate on the third quarter accounts of the organization. The next is Transcorp. Transcorp is expected to release the third quarter report to the market around the same period, October 18, 2018. Of course, when you talk about United Capital and Transcorp, they are more or less sister companies. They are under the same heirs holding, all right? Basically and largely. So we expect the third quarter report of Transcorp in the market around October 18, 2018. That's also the result of Custodian Investment Limited. We expect also to hit the market around October 10 this year. This is actually the one that most likely will come earliest than all the rest of them to the market this year. There's also the result of Africa Prudential PLC. I was not able to capture that because of time, all right? But also notice, just include Africa Prudential PLC to the list. Now, what you need to do, how you need to make use of this information that we have just given you, and I'm sure that this is about the first platform where you are going to have access to this kind of information. Now, I do hope that you know how to deploy this little seemingly information for profitability at the highest level in the market.